Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Shri Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Any topic welling up in your mind? It should not be a reading and listening, reading and hearing session, something more than that. In order to touch and kindle such thoughts in us, we will first read one article. This was an introduction to the new book, Signposts and Milestones. In Quest of God, the first book authored by beloved Papa Swami Ramdas, may mean many things to many people. To a casual reader, it is a witty, free-flowing travelogue worth reading. To a literature enthusiast, it is linguistic flair and unique narrative are outstanding and captivating. But to a seeker of truth, a true sadhak, this is a quintessential spiritual guide that offers clear insight and candid outlook. Papa Swami Ramdas is a seeker turned seer. He found what he sought for. He found his refuge in the infinite, and later became the one and only refuge to thousands of devotees and seekers from all walks of life. He was never a preacher. He was truly a preceptor who always lived in communion with the divine. Papa used to say, Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantram, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, all-pervading, indwelling God, had attained freedom and peace even before his advent into the world as a mendicant. On 27th December 1922, he took the leap, or he was motivated to take the leap. That was the beginning of the transition from Vittal Rao to Ramdas, and then later on to Swami Ramdas. So even before he stepped out, He was well grounded, that's what he says. Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantram, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, ever blissful, indwelling God, had attained freedom and peace even before his advent into the world as mendicant. In Quest of God is an exceptional chronicle of the most eventful phase of his blessed life, peppered with profound insights meant for all serious seekers, then, now, and forever. Often spiritual aspirants spend a lot of time pursuing so many methods due to lack of clarity, and this often results in frustration. In Papa's case, right from the start, he could unwaveringly stick to one path, bringing success in such a short time. Papa was from the beginning very clear that the God he was seeking was within, and that everything was happening only by his will. This reality got stabilized in him within a short time because of remembering him through chanting of his name ceaselessly and contemplating on his attributes simultaneously, not merely chanting. As chronicled in the book, beloved Papa wandered all over India, from the deep south to the far north, abandoning the comforts and conveniences of the earthly life, reliant only on the great provider. Often the sky was his roof, wild streams quenched his thirst, total strangers fed him in unknown places. Indeed, no one was a stranger for him. He found Ram in everyone on the way. He shared his endless love and compassion with the whole of humanity. Intense aspiration, coupled with earnest practice to attain the highest, quickened his spiritual progress, and in a short time, he had the vision of his beloved God everywhere, within and without. The result was unending bliss. Having thus attained the supreme goal of life, he started on his mission to guide and serve mankind, to awaken it to the awareness of God by founding Anandashram in 1931. His teachings are the clear and direct signposts for those who take to the path. However, beloved Papa wants devotees to dive deep into his words and understand the theme through their own experience. He says, through mere superficial churning of thought, Ramdas's words cannot be understood. Ramdas's words, you can throw light on them only when you bring with you the blazing torch of your own perfected experience. Experience is gained by diving deep into the depth of your mind. Mere assertion of the truth is not realization. Realization means direct perception and experience. 27th December 2022 is the centenary of beloved Papa's sannyas. His renunciation was an internal transformation that became the cornerstone in the spiritual foundation of his life thereafter. To commemorate this momentous historic occasion, many devotees were inspired by him to take up his seminal work In Quest of God for an in-depth study. While carrying out this experiential exploration, it became obvious to the devotees that reaching the heights Papa attained in such a short span of time requires a further serious approach to and a more rigorous discipline in their spiritual practice. Complacency is seemingly a major roadblock in their endeavor, being easily contended with mere vocal chanting doing bhajans, attending satsang does not seem to take their journey much further and farther. In this context, it will be appropriate to remember the words of Puja Mataji. I wanted you all to read In Quest of God 11 times so that your mind would turn within to Nirguna Brahman. There is a special reason for Papa making me ask you to read In Quest of God daily for 11 days. It is intended to take you within. You may not attain Papa within you on the 11th reading, but you will at least have started going within. It is like entering the ashram gates. Once you are within the gates, you have nothing to fear. Likewise, once you turn your gaze within, you have nothing to worry. Prompted by Mataji's inspiring words, devotees were able to dig deep into the text and unearth many learnings that would immensely empower them in their spiritual pursuits. Needless to say, this exercise is just a humble beginning, nowhere near the end. It is just a dip in the ocean. Swadhyaya knows no full stop. In this study guide, these relevant learnings were added to the end of each chapter so as to enable the readers to deepen and broaden their understanding of the text. If there is one word that can sufficiently describe the content and the intent of In Quest of God, that word must be expansion. It is hoped that this book will serve all as an invitation and a reminder to expand themselves from where they started to where they want to reach. When we hear these words, what does it touch and kindle in us? No? Yes? Anybody?
Complacency is the obstacle.
Complacency is seemingly a major roadblock. So we have to realize at least, we have not been very serious. We were just satisfied with the superficial. Unknowingly. Not that we don't want to, but we have not applied our mind seriously. Every one of us has to go in search of Papa within. Yesterday we read that, Omkarji's Swami is dead. Omkar is alive in all. That means Papa is, the form is not there. But we now remember that Papa stands for the indwelling or pervading reality. Because this form has a beginning. Before 1884, this form was not there. After 1963, the form is not there. So when Mataji meant Papa, she meant the original, who has also come in this form, like in everybody's form. So we are trying to understand. We were not serious. Yes, then. Merely reading, it will not help. That means we have to stitch it with our own experience. All of us have been blessed with experience, We would have named it good, bad, positive, negative, favorable, unfavorable. But now we slowly start realizing that everything was designed by God. My gains, my loss, my rights, my wrongs, my likes, my dislikes, everything. He wanted me to put us on that to learn something, to learn something, to learn something. That we should not, we should keep on hammering. At the moment, we are treating it as an incident or a person or a situation. And we react based upon that. But in quest of God, in-depth study makes us realize that our life is pre-scripted. Even these words are coming because He is making us to bring out. Reason we don't know. In Bhagavad Gita He says, though I am unborn, through Maya, which is a creation of me, I am born. Though I am unborn, through the Maya I created, delusion I created, I am born as Sri Krishna. So similarly, everything is prescripted, that we somehow should, even if we don't understand anything, we try to understand this. When He makes us to go through different types of experience, He has got a purpose behind it. Because He gave us the life that we should not forget. So we have to, He has also given us experience, so we have to understand His words through our experience. Otherwise it becomes a bookish knowledge, textual knowledge, academic knowledge. But when we stitch it with our own experience, we get some more clarity about it. We parade before our mind the various types of experience we have passed through, and we will find everything was for our improvement, for our journey to know Him, to realize Him, to become one with Him. Yes, anything else?
Nobody was a stranger to Papa.
Nobody was a stranger to Papa. How? Because when he is when he knows that his life is prescripted, like that everybody's life is prescripted. Just like, in a drama or a cinema, when we go for an acting, it is prescripted. The lyrics they have written, and the actor is made to learn by heart and go to that particular scene and act. Though in front of everybody there is a hero, there is a villain, supporters of hero, supporters of villain, and in their mind they know nobody is a hero, nobody is a villain, or we are only acting. Similarly, Papa could reach that stage where that sense of individuality called Ramdas is a role given to him by him. Similarly, others are also given role by him, so they are not strangers. In his grand play, he has assigned each and everybody roles, and they are playing their roles. So when he was able to reach that stage, realize that stage, experience that stage, nobody was a stranger to him. So kindly think about this prescripted, In Bhagavad Gita, so many places he repeats that. He says to Arjuna, I have already killed all those people. You are only a nimittam. That means, everything has been prescripted. But still, for the sake of all of us, the Mahabharata war was there. Let us try to understand it. At least at the intellectual level we will understand and then try. So that behind everything that is happening, initially there may be a jerk, because we will be reacting it from the individual standpoint. But in the shortest possible time, we must be able to pull us back. There must be some purpose behind it. There must be some purpose behind it. So the labeling of negative and positive will become less and less. Though for Vyavahara's sake we may use those words, it will not touch our heart. With that background, we have to go through In Quest of God. That is why he was free from grumblings, complaints. He was able to accept every situation cheerfully.
Can I ask a question related to prescript life?
Huh?
He has a question.
I have been reading this book, Experience of the God.
Huh?
God experience, he was reading the book.
And I think in that book, it is one of the best description ever made by anybody related to karma and result theory, which described in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. And second person was, I think, Raman Maharshi, but I couldn't read that, the whole script. My question is, if the whole life is scripted, our life...
If the whole life is?
Prescripted.
Prescripted.
Then if I am not able to go into my own mind or seek that thing which we all are seeking, and we are not able to go further, then it is also a prescripted, or the decision I have to make, it is also prescripted, or the self, the ego, the person takes the ball, that I will take the ball, or I will take that path, then only it comes to that prescript, or otherwise.
Everything is prescripted, but in the play he has given us a sense of individuality. When the sense of individuality tries to go to its source, it will realize that it doesn't exist by itself. But by giving us a sense of individuality, he makes us unaware of his presence within. And then we take decisions, we talk, we think, we act, thinking that we are acting, we are talking, we are thinking. But later on, as a spiritual aspirant, when we go deeper and deeper into it, even behind the very acting, even behind the very thinking, even behind the very talking, there is that power. Bereft of that power, nothing is possible. That is why it is named as prescripted. Without that, the individual feels that he has got freedom. As a spiritual aspirant, for others, they feel they can take decision, they feel they are thinking, they are talking, it is okay. But for a spiritual aspirant, it will slowly become clearer and clearer that behind all thoughts, words and deeds, there is that power. The power which makes me to see through my eyes, the power which makes me to think, the power which makes me to talk, the power which makes my body to function. It is something different. So from that level, everything is prescripted. Until and unless we reach that stage, it is self-originated, individual-originated. We are trying to see, we are trying to understand that everything comes from him, comes from him, comes from him. That is the message he gives us through the In Quest of God. Whatever is happening by the will of God. Whatever is happening for our ultimate good. This he keeps on hammering. At that time we may not realize. After some time we realize.
Who takes the jump in the ocean?
Eh?
Who takes the jump in the ocean?
Who takes the jump in the ocean? Who takes the spiritual path? No? Who takes the spiritual path?
Who takes the sense of individuality before it realizes its union with him, with that theory, takes a leap into it. Because in the normal course, our sense organs are with the sense objects. So it has no time to look within and experience the power or feel about the power. When spiritual aspirants try to withdraw their sense organs from the sense objects and try to slowly direct toward the power within, then the attitude of taking a leap steps in. Only at that time. Whether the sense organs are receding from the field of sense objects, the 5 sense organs, they go to different fields. Whether it is receding from it, and only then it can turn its attention toward the indwelling spirit. Now we are finding it difficult because our sense organs are fully preoccupied with the sense objects. So Nama chanting with the right attitude enables us to do that. In his case, that is why he was able to chant 22 hours out of 24 hours. Not merely chanting, dwelling on this source of soul. During the 1920 to 1922 period, he was able to withdraw. That is why he took to a simple life. He denied many things for himself. The self-imposed disciplines on food, on dress, on bed, and turning all these, when suppose we are used to certain comforts, that comforts occupy our mind space. So we are unable to direct the entire attention to God. So he was able to understand what are the roadblocks. So he was able to impose all those things, and in 2 years' time, the preparatory work was over, and he had a glimpse of that. He got steadied. After glimpse, he got steadied himself, established in itself, and for further consolidating or concretizing, he took up this leap. That is why we say In Quest of God is the manual of life. Whether we are in a position to live up to it or not. First we try, when we buy a gadget, the manual will be there. Whenever we are unable to open it or make it to function, we go to the manual. Whenever some trouble comes, we go to the manual. So the sense of individuality will be motivated to take the leap by, that is also prescripted. So unless and until we exhaust the sense of the agency, it has got relevance, validity is there. We have to act. We have to act as prompted from within. Until we know that because of the prompting only this action was done, then the I slowly withdraw. Action is there. He got into the train at 5 o'clock in the morning from Mangalore. Reached E Road by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. He got down. He did not know what to do further. He did not ask anybody. Then somebody, some sadhu asked him, "Where are you going?" He immediately said, you know it, God has come in that form. He was able to track. So he said, I am going to Trichy, you can come. At every stage you will find that. He was aware of this prescript. Now people like us, when we look back our life, we can say that how many changes he made in our life, how many times he made us to revisit our concepts, how many times he changed our decisions, changed places. At that time, the mind or intellect was telling something, some reason. But he was making us to go through a process. So one will be able to know that it is prescripted only when we bring in this God dimension. And in his case, the constant God dimension was reminded through chanting. It is purely an inward journey, Beloved Papa wants devotees to dive deep into his words, to understand the theme through their own experience. Anything else? That is why Mataji asked, Mataji's words. Before starting the 11 times of reading, she wanted all of us to go to the Samadhi Mandir, place that book, and then take 14 rounds of the Samadhi Mandir, and then pray to him, help me to go within. Otherwise, there is a tendency on us to concentrate on the situations, incidents, anecdotes, and we will miss the theme contained therein. We have to unearth that which is lying between the lines. She specifically said, so that your mind would turn within to Nirguna Brahman. Reading it for 11 days is intended to take you within. Anything else? Papa says, off and on he was prompted by Ram to read the teachings of Sri Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, Buddha, the Light of Asia, Jesus, New Testament, Mahatma Gandhi, Young India and Ethical Religion. The young plant of bhakti in Ram was thus nurtured in the electric atmosphere created by the influence of these great men on the mind of humble Ramdas. It was at this time that it slowly dawned upon his mind that Ram was the only reality and all else was false. While desires for the enjoyment of worldly things were fast falling off, the consideration of me and mine was also wearing out. The sense of possession and relationship was vanishing. All thought, all mind, all heart, all soul was concentrated on Ram, Ram covering up and absorbing everything. This was prior to his sleep. Anything else? அல்லவே பிஃபோர் அதுக்கு முன்னாலே ராம் ஆயிரும் சொல்கிறாரு. O Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection. He introduces Ram. What is meant by the word Ram? Ram stands for truth, Ram stands for love, Ram stands for the goal of human perfection. He is the subtle and mysterious power. The power in Ayodhya Ram also, no? Gandhiji also named as this Atma Ram. So Papa's Ram is Atma Ram. But those who are unable to concentrate on the Nirguna Nirakara aspect, nameless, formless aspect, they can also bring any form. Even Lord Ramachandra Murti can be there. The only thing is we should not limit this power to that form. That's all. Subtle and mysterious power means the creative force, the sustaining power, that which motivates towards constant change, overall intelligence, goodness, kindness, beauty, the ever-present, all-pervading essence or spirit, which binds everything in the universe together and gives life to everything. Something approximating, to the reality. This will help us. So then he said that when this Ram is clear, then the Ram, he says, it was at this time that it slowly dawned upon his mind that Ram was the only reality and all else was false. While desires for the enjoyment of worldly things were fast falling off, the consideration of me and mine was also wearing out. The sense of possession and relationship was vanishing. All thought, all mind, all heart, all soul was concentrated on Ram, Ram covering up, absorbing everything. At the same time, when he went to Srirangam, Rameshwaram, he went inside. So right grounding in the impersonal aspect leads to reverence to the personal worship also. But at the same time, not limiting to that form. That form represents the all-pervading reality. If that is maintained, worship of form will be helpful. If there is anything in Mother Nature that may even remotely resemble the inner and outer journey that Papa traversed in quest of God, it must be the marvelous transformation of a crawling, plump little caterpillar to an awe-inspiring masterpiece of a butterfly. Beloved Papa's journey is in fact our own journey. He is our pioneer, travel agent, guide, GPS and companion, all rolled into one. Once we finish reading In Quest of God, we are not supposed to relax and retire back to our comfort zones. We are expected to start in right earnest, where Papa started, like a humble little caterpillar, with full faith in our direction and destiny of becoming a butterfly, however slow, arduous and painful that process might turn to be. Ram blessed Papa with utter serenity, thus enabling him to lead a blissful life in constant remembrance of him, only after subjecting him to go through most trying and stressful experiences repeatedly. So long as the mind retains its usual characteristics of likes and dislikes, rights and wrongs, preferences and priorities, cravings, desires and possessiveness, and the other pairs of opposites, we will never be free from its clutches, causing restless and tense life. Beloved Papa said, identifying every object of thought with God is the answer to every situation in life. Identifying every object of thought with God is the answer to every situation in life. This is the quintessence of the book In Quest of God. Let the mind wander. Wherever it wanders only in God. Remembering this at all times will give us the needed strength to tide over every challenging situation calmly. Here we see that the situation does not change, but our approach to it changes. Initially, it may be difficult to remember all the hints, numbering 198 brought under each chapter. Hence, a synopsis also has been made for easy assimilation. There are about 24. Go to the source of all sources, great void. Subservience to a higher power. A means to erase me and mine. Constant dialogue with him. Whenever free from duties, meditate and utter his name, be the period ever so small. Resorting to periodical solitude and observing silence aid in curbing the outgoing tendencies of the mind. Prayer becomes most effective when it is self-originated. Cultivate simple living habits. Tripod of sadhana, fixed resolve, sustained faith, optimistic outlook. Of these three, an optimistic outlook is more important. Depend exclusively on inner guidance. Self-imposed disciplines ensure progress. Maintain equanimity in all situations. Throw ourselves entirely at his mercy with nothing to fall back upon except him. Accept every situation cheerfully, treating it as ordained by God. Develop a positive attitude at all times, including adverse and trying circumstances. Real contentment is the outcome of a dedicated life, free from grumblings and complaints. As far as possible, try to be in a spiritually conducive atmosphere. Although our life and all its ingredients are transient, it does not mean that they are insignificant in any sense. All events and individuals have a purpose in the grand scheme of things. Nothing is irrelevant, nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant. Pray to the Creator to help us remain steadfast in our commitment to remember Him in all actions and see Him in all His manifestations. Becoming aware of His grace enables us to do sadhana perseveringly, knowing that He is the activating principle behind all events and individuals, including sadhana. Become aware that personal, impersonal, saguna, nirguna all have relevance in spirituality. Steps in the spiritual journey. Bhakti is the root, Vairagya is the trunk, Jnana is the flower, Parabhakti is the fruit. Tests come unawares. So spiritual journey, when we are taking up spiritual journey, if it's clear to us, Bhakti is the root. The Bhakta's devotion towards Bhagavan. Later on we know that the Bhakta and Bhagavan are one. But the sweet relationship we have established even continues after realization. This is what Papa teaches us. So Bhakti is the root. Start. Vairagya is the trunk. Withdrawal from the outer to the inner. Jnana, feeling the presence of the Atman within, is the flower. Parabhakti, feeling the whole universe, including us, pervaded by Him only, is the fruit. Very clear. Every now and then we have to go through these because we are fully preoccupied with the various activities outside, and our mind and intellect has been reacting to it based upon our previous experience, vasanas. We will forget. So He is now providing us. The sense of individuality should get itself connected to the source. These points might help us. With this background, if we go through Papa's teachings, it becomes very, very clear to us. We may also know which are the areas we have to improve. Hari Om. Today there was no major prompting from everybody's heart, but kindly think about it. Very important. Mere reading or hearing will not help us. Something for us to go within, relate to our workaday life, day-to-day life. The moment we step out of this hall, what happens must be related to this, because Papa's school of philosophy does not divide spiritual life and mundane life. In Quest of God makes us realize that also. He was very much with the common run of life. Still he was able to maintain that. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om to everybody.